Murder, the ultimate betrayal of life. It doesn't just end a life, it leaves families shattered and communities scarred. The knife plunges, the bullet tears, and suddenly a future that was supposed to be is gone, replaced by a void of unanswered questions. But when a murder remains unsolved, it becomes something far more chilling, a mystery that haunts investigators, fuels conspiracies, and leaves us wondering, what really happened? The unknown festers in the back of our minds. Could it happen again? Could any of us be next? Unlike solved crimes, unsolved murders leave behind nothing but fear and unanswered questions. Somewhere out there, the perpetrators may still be walking free, blending in with the morning commute, buying groceries, living a life they denied their victims. The thought is chilling, a cold draft in a locked room. Today, we're diving into 5 of the most chilling unsolved murders in history. Dark, twisted cases that defy explanation and keep the world guessing. We'll dissect the crime scenes, analyze the evidence, and try to understand the minds of the monsters who committed these heinous acts. The winter of 1947. Post-war optimism hung in the air like smog over Los Angeles. But beneath the glitz and glamour, a darkness was about to grip the city.
The glamorous city of Los Angeles became the scene of a crime so horrific, so brutal, that it would haunt the city for decades to come. On January 15th, the body of 22-year-old Elizabeth Short was discovered in a vacant lot. Her corpse, severed at the waist, was carefully posed, arms raised, legs spread in a grotesque tableau. Her face was slashed into a chilling Glasgow smile, a macabre signature etched onto her pale flesh.
Elizabeth Short, a small-town girl with big Hollywood dreams, became known posthumously as the Black Dahlia, due to her striking appearance and dark clothing. But Elizabeth's gruesome death shook the public and captured the world's attention in a way few crimes ever had. The brutality of the murder, coupled with Elizabeth's beauty and tragic backstory, created a media frenzy.
The investigation into Elizabeth Short's murder was extensive, with hundreds of leads investigated and dozens of suspects questioned. But the killer, like a phantom from a silver screen nightmare, vanished without a trace. The case went cold, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a city forever marked by the shadow of the Black Dahlia.
Was the murder a crime of passion committed by a jealous lover? Or was it the work of a sadistic serial killer, preying on young women with Hollywood dreams? Theories abound, each more sinister than the last. Some whisper about organized crime, others of a Hollywood cover-up. The Black Dahlia case remains unsolved, a chilling reminder that even in the City of Angels, darkness can lurk just beneath the surface, waiting to claim its next victim. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, the peaceful and picturesque communities of Northern California, especially in the San Francisco Bay Area, became the hunting ground for one of the most elusive and terrifying serial killers in American history. This killer, who would later become known as the Zodiac, didn't just leave behind the usual trail of death and destruction. He also taunted the police, the media, and the public with cryptic letters, bizarre ciphers, and chilling threats.
The Zodiac killer terrorized the Bay Area, seemingly selecting his victims at random. Young couples parked on lovers' lanes, a cab driver picking up a fare late at night. No one was safe from his reign of terror. But it was the letters sent to newspapers that truly set him apart. These cryptic messages, often filled with astrological symbols and boasts of his crimes, were like puzzles designed to taunt and torment.
The Zodiac craved notoriety, reveling in the fear he instilled in the hearts of millions. He claimed responsibility for 37 murders, although only 7 were confirmed. Each attack was carried out with chilling precision, leaving behind few clues and a growing body count. The Zodiac became a specter, a boogeyman lurking in the shadows of everyday life.
Despite the best efforts of law enforcement, the Zodiac killer was never caught. His identity remains a mystery to this day, a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity. The case remains open, a constant reminder that some monsters may never be brought to justice.
Chapter 3. The Villisca Axe Murders. Silence in the Heartland. In the quiet, close-knit town of Villisca, Iowa, nestled in the heart of the American Midwest, the peacefulness of everyday life was shattered in the most horrific way imaginable.
Imagine a place where neighbors greet each other with a smile, where children play freely in the streets, where the rhythm of life is slow and steady, like the swaying cornfields that surround it.
On the night of June 10, 1912, the Moore family, Josiah, his wife Sarah, their 4 children, and 2 young houseguests, were violently and brutally murdered in their own home while they slept.
The weapon used, an axe. The brutality of the crime, the sheer savagery of it, shocked the nation. 8 innocent lives extinguished in a storm of violence.
The Moore residence, a modest 2-story frame house, became a gruesome tableau. Blood splattered the walls, furniture lay overturned, and the air was thick with the metallic scent of death.
The killer, shrouded in darkness, had moved methodically, striking each victim with chilling precision.
The investigation into the Villisca Axe murders was hampered by the limited forensic technology of the time. The crime scene was contaminated by curious onlookers, and rumors spread like wildfire through the small town.
Despite numerous suspects and theories, the case remains unsolved to this day. Some whispered about a vengeful drifter, others of a jealous neighbor. Theories ranged from the plausible to the outlandish, but the truth, like the killer, remained elusive.
The Villisca Axe murders serve as a chilling reminder that even in the heartland of America, darkness can lurk beneath the surface of everyday life. Chapter 4. The Hinterkaifeck murders, isolation and terror. Imagine for a moment living in complete isolation, surrounded by dense forests, miles away from the nearest neighbor.
You reside in a secluded farmhouse, where the only sounds are the wind rustling through the trees and the occasional animal stirring in the distance.
For the Gruber family, this was their reality. An isolated life on a farm known as Hinterkaifeck, nestled deep in rural Bavaria, Germany.
This farm, far removed from the bustle of civilization, provided a peaceful existence for Andreas Gruber, his wife, daughter, 2 grandchildren, and their maid.
But in March of 1922, this quiet, isolated life would be shattered in the most horrifying way imaginable.
Days before the murders, strange occurrences began to plague the family. Footsteps in the attic, tools misplaced, a set of house keys that vanished without a trace.
The family, unnerved, dismissed these events as the work of their imagination or perhaps a mischievous spirit, but the truth was far more sinister.
On March 31st, 1922, the entire Gruber family, along with their maid, were found brutally murdered inside the farmhouse. They had been killed with a pickaxe, each blow delivered with chilling precision.
The killer had then meticulously covered their bodies in the hayloft, as if tucking them in for a final, eternal sleep.
The Hinterkaifeck murders sent shockwaves through Germany. The brutality of the crime, coupled with the isolation of the farmhouse and the eerie events leading up to the murders, captivated the nation.
Theories abounded, but concrete evidence was scarce. Some whispered about a family feud, others of a robbery gone wrong. But the killer, like a phantom of the forest, vanished without a trace.
The crime scene, preserved in time, stands as a chilling monument to the horrors that can unfold behind closed doors, far from the prying eyes of civilization.
Chapter 5. The Cleveland Torso Murders. Carnage in the City of Light. The 1930s were a time of great turmoil in the United States, an era marked by economic hardship, political unrest, and societal tension.
But in Cleveland, Ohio, something far more sinister was brewing. Between 1935 and 1938, the city was gripped by a series of gruesome and perplexing murders that would come to be known as the Cleveland Torso Murders.
The victims, mostly transients and individuals living on the fringes of society, were found dismembered, their bodies often drained of blood and expertly dissected.
The killer, dubbed the Mad Butcher by the press, seemed to relish in the macabre, often posing the body parts in grotesque displays.
The Cleveland torso murders sent a wave of terror through the city. The killer's brazenness, his ability to operate undetected in the heart of a bustling metropolis, left residents on edge.
Law enforcement, overwhelmed by the grisly nature of the crimes and the sheer number of potential suspects, struggled to make headway. Despite a massive investigation involving hundreds of officers and countless man-hours, the Cleveland torso murders remain unsolved.
The killer's identity, motives, and methods are still shrouded in mystery, a chilling testament to the dark side of human nature.
Some believe the killer was a skilled surgeon or butcher, given the precision of the dismemberments. Others speculate about a connection to organized crime, pointing to the city's underworld as a potential breeding ground for such depravity.
The Cleveland torso murders serve as a chilling reminder that even in the most bustling of cities, darkness can lurk in the shadows, waiting to claim its victims. And sometimes, the most horrifying monsters are those who walk among us, hidden in plain sight. Chapter 6. Unanswered Questions, Unsettled Minds. These 5 chilling, unsolved murders have forever etched themselves into the fabric of history. Their brutality is undeniable, but it's the unsolved mysteries, the unanswered questions, that continue to haunt us. Each case, a puzzle box with missing pieces, leaves us staring into the abyss, wondering what truly transpired. These cases serve as a chilling reminder that sometimes the darkest truths are hidden in plain sight, and some stories may never be fully uncovered. The monsters who commit such heinous acts may walk among us, their secrets buried deep, their true nature masked by a veneer of normalcy. As we search for answers that may never come, we're left with one haunting thought. How many more unsolved crimes remain lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered? Only time will tell. But until then, the questions remain, and the mysteries endure.